Breaking news. This is not me. I don't know. Okay.
Just imagine somewhere to call your own. Your space, your freedom, your choice, your home. Reserve a Persimmon home today and we could cover your...
I am never the same, but I am always myself. Paradox by Prada.
Good respect. That is one. That has been picked up beautifully.
I think he's up brilliantly.
Oh, he's got all of that.
Some football players have a secret. But let's start with Neymar's story, because he almost made his entire family go homeless. And it all started in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where growing up, him and his family were so poor, they were one mistake away from losing everything. And even though Neymar was just a little kid with a football and a dream, it was completely up to him to save the day. One month, his dad forgot about the electricity bill, and on the last day to pay, he had to work. So dad had no choice but to trust this kid with the money. And even though Neymar was young, I'm sure he understood the importance of keeping lights on, so he was down to go pay the bill. But as Neymar was walking down the street, he saw something crazy. There was a raffle where he had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win his dream car. And there was no way he could pass that up. So he went in and bought a ticket. And later that night, he could barely sleep. All he could think about was cruising down the street in his new whip until the next morning. Because as soon as he opened his eyes, he heard something. Could it be? Neymar jumped out his bed, ran out his room, and there was... Dad? Pissed, because the electric company pulled up in their car to shut the power off. Now, at least what Neymar did only got him an ass whooped. Zlatan's mistake almost got him assassinated. It all went down in 2019 while he was playing with the Gals. Because Zlatan was getting pretty confident.
I think I'm the best ever player in MLS. That without joking.
Why?
Have you been looking for the 2 years I've been playing?
And coming into his 38th birthday, he wanted to treat himself. So there was one gift at the top of his wish list. But see, when he copped this Ferrari Monza SP2, the car wasn't the problem. It's what he did with it. Behind the scenes, Zlatan's had a notorious reputation for parking like a jackass. Over the lines, stealing people's spots. One day, he pulled up in his $1 million whip and parked in the middle of the street. But what he didn't know was he was being watched by a maniac. And this dude wasn't trying to ruin Zlatan's car. He was trying to end his life. Because right when dude saw Zlatan breaking the law, he drove home as fast as he could to get a weapon. And I'm not gonna lie, this dude was on another level of crazy. Because he literally went on a 7-year killing spree without being caught. So luckily when he pulled back up, Zlatan was gone. And eventually, the police found out. Because he publicly admitted he was only trying to smoke Zlatan just to get famous. So they threw his stupid ass in jail. Now, I don't know what's crazier, that or Emmanuel Adebayor's life literally being saved by a football. Because what happened back in 1988, no doctor could ever explain. Nowadays, you wouldn't think this star striker had major health concerns. But growing up in Togo was anything but easy. Because right from birth, doctors noticed Emmanuel had a serious problem. They told his family that for some mysterious reason, Emmanuel's legs didn't work. But mom and dad didn't want to just give up on their baby. So for years, they searched for a cure throughout all of Africa. But they had no luck. And they were desperate, so they turned to their last resort, the church, where they vowed to pray for a man for 7 days. But if that didn't work, all hope was lost. So they prayed all 7 days and all 7 nights. And then, on the very last day, still nothing. Until...
Libre, the original eau de parfum Yves Saint Laurent.
A bunch of kids were outside, kicking around a football. And as soon as Emmanuel noticed, he not only stood up, he ran after the ball and joined in the game. And from that point on, he eventually went on to become a pro football player. He became one of Africa's richest athletes ever. And to this day, no doctor, no church has a single explanation. But I don't know what's harder to believe. That or Kevin De Bruyne being a millionaire and still being scared to talk to girls. Because back in 2013, one embarrassing moment changed his life forever. See, at the time, De Bruyne was just a rising star, so he only had a few thousand Twitter followers. But in between games, he'd still throw out a tweet, and there was always a notification that made his heart skip a beat. But one day while he was chilling with his friend, he tweeted about the night before his game, when boom, there was a notification from a baddie. So De Bruyne showed his friend the like, and his friend did what any good wingman would do. He told De Bruyne to message her, but our boy was down bad, cause he'd never had a girl on this level, and thought there was no way she was fine. And I don't blame blame him, because if I looked like this, I wouldn't think she'd message me either. So his friend grabbed the phone and did him a favor. And luckily he did that, because not only did she respond, De Bruyne and her started texting non-stop. And a few years of dating later, they got married and lived happily ever after, all from his friend's DM. But hey, at least De Bruyne ain't ruining the world like Aaron Ramsey's curse. Because him just playing football literally kills people. This curse, it started haunting Ramsey back in 2009. And while playing for Arsenal, even though he'd rarely score a goal, little did he know he was about to become a killer. Literally. Because as the years went on, when Ramsey stepped his game up to another level, this meant more playing time and scoring more goals. But what he was secretly doing became a worldwide controversy. At first, what began unfolding seemed like a massive coincidence until it wasn't. Because the more goals Ramsey scored, the more people were dying. But, I mean, come on. The only curse I ever heard of was the one that happens if you don't subscribe to our channel. So, Ramsey's can't be real, right? Well, fast forward to 2021. After scoring 64 career goals, 23 of them had a direct link to celebrities dying. Whether it's the same day, the day after, or the week of. For 15 years, Ramsey's body bags keep piling up. And the list just keeps getting crazier. So every time he scores, it becomes a trending topic. And things are getting so ridiculous. Fans literally started a petition for Ramsey to quit football. But whether you believe in the curse or not, at least his story's out there. For Ronaldo, he's not only kept a dirty little secret, he spent his entire life covering it up. And back in 2013, while he was playing for Real Madrid, things started getting a little sus. Because at the time, he started setting records and becoming one of football's greatest players ever, so he felt unstoppable. But when you turn yourself into a face of the biggest sport in the world,
Got a combi boiler. You can save up to $112 on your gas bill this winter.
how do you go from one of football's most legendary players to having $7 and behind bars of South America's most dangerous prison?
Ronaldinho Gaucho was arrested in Paraguay on Friday.
Ronaldinho's tragic story began during his childhood, because he was born into one of Brazil's most dangerous cities, where just walking down the street could get you. But Ronaldinho's mom and dad only made enough money for him and his siblings to live there in a wooden shed. So right from birth, it was completely up to Ronaldinho to pave his entire family a way out. But if it wasn't for his family, he wouldn't have gone pro in the first place. See, there was one thing that brought this family together. But the problem was, Ronaldinho's parents were so poor, they couldn't even buy him shoes. So Dad lied and said that to become a star football player, it was actually better to practice barefoot. And maybe Dad was right, because Ronaldinho's older brother Roberto was just 16 years old and already becoming the favela's football prodigy. So Ronaldinho listened. After all, he was just trying to make Dad proud. And Roberto was willing to help Ronaldinho every step of the way. Every single day, he was in the streets and in the backyard, helping Ronaldinho practice. Because they both had dreams of going pro for their dad. And Dad knew his boys were special, so whenever he clocked out of work, he dedicated every second of his life to training with the boys. And Roberto was playing for Grêmio. All Dad's drills turned him into a star, so Grêmio came in with the deal of a lifetime. They not only gave Roberto a signing bonus, they bought the entire family a house in the suburbs with a pool. So it was official. Roberto saved the family. And after moving out of the ghetto, all Roberto could do was thank God his dreams came true. So on his 18th birthday, the family planned a celebration. And when Roberto was coming home from practice, he realized all of Dad's sacrifice actually paid off. Right when Roberto walked through the door.
911, what is your emergency?